you might wonder why I picked that title. Spicing up means making something more exciting. And so I quite often work with, can you hear me? No. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. Yes, if you can't hear me, just tell me, because I'd like you to hear me. Okay, so yes, as I said, spicing up your topic means making things more exciting for the topic. And quite often, I use a thematic approach. So you can use this at any level, starting with a theme and going through the theme for the entire lesson. If you wanted to, you could take it over 2 days if you want as well. So the idea is you choose a topic, something interesting, topical, something different that the students will be interested in. So there's just some examples of topics here. Internet dangers, which is the one I've chosen today. Obesity, that's a topical issue, I think, in every country today, with the growing obesity crisis. Yeah. Attacks on sugar, it's quite controversial. Banning soft drinks at school. In Australia, they're debating this at the moment. Should they ban soft drinks entirely? Because soft drinks apparently have about 10 teaspoons of sugar in every can. So, global warming, smoking bans in different places. In Australia, smoking's banned almost everywhere, even outdoor cafes, parks. So you could debate, is it going too far? Environmental issues, cosmetic surgery might be a good one in Iran. I've heard there's lots of women with bandages on the nose. Iran has the most number of nose jobs in the world. That's okay. So that could be an issue. Computer game addiction, recycling, we did that before, renewable energy, nuclear power. All these are topical issues, and you may think of others. Yeah, oops, go again. So you choose something that's interesting that your students will be interested in. And then there are 5 steps to this plan. So we start with a warmer. We always start with a warmer. Try and have a warmer that's related to your topic. Then you have some authentic material to engage the students. Then you focus on listening or reading, whichever one you want, and have interactive tasks to elaborate that. Discussion and writing. So it's all starting from speaking, listening, reading, writing. So you're covering all 4 macro skills. And this is, I think, really good for IELTS. Because a lot of IELTS students, is it echoing too much? Is that okay? A lot of IELTS students say to me that they have no ideas for the essay, or they don't have enough ideas. And so this gives them lots of ideas on the topics, and then hopefully they'll have plenty of ideas by the end of the first 4 steps that they are able to write an essay. Or even if you're not doing IELTS, it's good to write for a paragraph, even for lower students, or sentences even at very low level. So this is the plan. So the warmer. So why begin with the warmer? We covered that a little bit in the last session. So it focuses students on English from the beginning, motivates students, gives them a sense of achievement, personalises the topic, and adds variety to the lesson and wakes them up. I think we covered that before. Okay, so that's the first one. So it's good to find a warmer that's related to your particular topic. So, some ideas. Other ideas for warmers. Pair work, information gap, as we did before. A quick survey, not such a long one as we did before, but just a quick survey asking 2 or 3 questions about the topic to their classmates. Find someone who, you could have find someone who that we did at the beginning, all related to that particular topic. Or a 10-minute discussion, they could think of 5 questions on that topic to discuss. Or a vocabulary game, numerous ways you could have a warmer related to that topic. I have a warmer here, which is a topic we're going to develop, dangers of the internet. So I just did a questionnaire for the class to ask their classmates, but you could use anything. Okay. So this is an example of a warmer on a different topic. So in pairs or groups, you can tell your partner 3 things you did for the environment last week. So this makes it personal, something you did, And we did the activity before, so you should have lots and lots of ideas. So perhaps we could just do that now. Just in groups, pairs or groups, get yourself into groups, and just tell your partner 3 things that you personally did for the environment last week. Okay. So just do that now. Yeah. 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Catalyst you did to environment recently, maybe yesterday, maybe a week ago. I believe it helps to preserve our natural resources.
Yes,
so
that's
that would
fantastic.
be a great help to the environment if
Yes.
I try not to use plastics every day.
That's fantastic. And Mojtaba,
Yes.
did I say that correctly?
Yeah. When I get some printing, I always use both sides of the paper to print some.
That's
I think that
fantastic.
preserve the environment.
That's great, thank you. How about Nancy? What's an example that you...
to ask others, not to do it.
That's great. What about Emma? Do you have an example?
We separate our garbage to wet and dry, and so they cannot recycle some of them.
Fantastic, thank you. So another way to extend that would be to get students to write those ideas on the board, so then they're to use or see or deal with authentic material, real material. So what do we mean by authentic material? So sometimes it's called realia. So listening You can have online news items, video clips, I showed you one before about the role play, TV shows, little bits of that, YouTube clips, music videos, songs, movie trailers sometimes can be good to illustrate a point. So these make it more exciting for students and engage them in the topic. Pictures, for lower level or even upper level you could use a picture just to begin discussion. Photographs, an art image, a newspaper image, postcard or a picture book. So these can just begin discussion on something. Picture can be quite evocative and bring up points for discussion. Or written. So you could have a newspaper article. These are real materials, like a newspaper article, advertisement, a restaurant menu, if you're talking about food, a sales dialogue, a catalogue, a travel brochure, food labels, maps, movie posters. So all these are designed to stimulate and encourage discussion. So that's step 2. So step 3, listening or reading. So this is the third section. So you choose the main skill that you want to teach. So if you want to teach listening is a skill you really want to teach, you would find a longer listening text. Or if you want to teach reading, you would choose some reading text, which I'll go on to in a minute. So here are some resources of fantastic listening sites. I use these all the time with my students, and I ask the students to practice their listening skills by going on to one of these stories every day. So this is a really good method to tell your students to try and improve their listening skills. So, how many are there? Here? Maybe he slipped out. We can, later I can get onto the sites and show you all the different stories that they have. There are literally hundreds of stories on all of these sites that are fantastic to practice listening. So Catalyst is one. It's basically a science program, but it's everyday science like food and different environment and different things that are of interest to people. They're about 15 minutes. Some of them are half an hour. Another one is BTN, which we'll listen to later. A BTN story. They're only actually I think they're 3 to 4 minutes. Very short. Good for students with low, teenagers. They like things short and sweet. BBC English is always good, lots of stories there, and Simon IELTS, they also have lots of listening things on there. So for the purposes of this particular one, we're choosing reading. So as I said, you can choose to go with listening, a longer listening passage, or reading. And so if you choose reading, so you can choose to have one article, as here I have an article on Amelia Earhart, who was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic alone. It's a very interesting, you know her, yeah. She's a very interesting woman. So this is one article, so there are, in this one there are 5 sections. So part 1, part 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have enough for five groups. Or you can choose 4 different articles on the same main topic. The topic we're going to do today is dangers of the internet. So I have 4 articles in different colours on the dangers of the internet with different aspects of the dangers of the internet. So you can do either way. One long article and break it up into passages. You can give the students the whole article and just say, well, this group does paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, or you can cut it up and just hand them the sections. So this whole exercise is called Jigsaw Reading. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but we use this a lot with Monash. So, with the Jigsaw Reading, you divide the students into groups of 4 or 5. Depending on how many articles you have. Today I have 4 articles, so we'll have groups of 4. And each group has one article or a section of one article. So group 1 might have the first part, group 2 the second part, etc. So each group reads their article or section of the article, and then they discuss the article, discuss the content, and then discuss the article, what themes the article introduces, and then they write on a small piece of paper some points. So just 4 or 5 points, not sentences, just 4 or 5 points. We're going to do this, so if it's a bit confusing, don't worry. Okay, so with the jigsaw reading, it's like this, if you can imagine. So we have 16 students. We have the students in the first group all have, say, the yellow article to read. Students in group B would have the pink. In group C, they have the green article, and in group D, they have the blue article. Yeah, and it's handy to put them in different colours if you've got colours, because it just makes it more interesting for the students and easier to organise too. So, after they have done that, that probably would take about 20 minutes, quite a while. So they have to read the article. They may need to look up some vocabulary words, or they could ask their classmates, their group members, what does this mean? They need to discuss it, and they need to make notes. So it could take 20 minutes, even half an hour. Then the students regroup. So they take their notes. So you have one student who has, as you can see, a student from the A group who did the yellow sheet, a student from the pink group who did the pink sheet, C and D. So then the new group has 4 students four students who have read different articles and have notes from that article. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard to explain sometimes. So the students have regrouped. This is also good for grouping, because it's really good for students to work with other students, because if they just work with their friends, sometimes they become distracted and talk about the weekend or their boyfriend or something like that, as they do. But if they regrouped, they're with people they're not quite familiar with, and it's very good. So, and then the discussion. When they have formed their new groups over here, they have a discussion. Each person will tell other people of the group what they have read and the points, and then they will have a discussion on that topic. So, and then a spokesperson from the group, from each group, can report to the class on what they discussed. So this is practicing speaking skills as well. Or on whiteboards, students could write down the main points. And this is good because it's leading to writing. And then this leads to writing. So as you can see, we start with the warm-up, we do some listening, maybe a short listening, to a longer reading session, and then onto discussion, and then onto writing. And I've used this a lot in my teaching because it's great. It engages students, that they like the topic, it's good for vocabulary build-up, and it leads on ultimately to writing, which is one of the hardest skills for students. So, with the writing, there are different genres. You can have posters. I've done this topic quite successfully with students writing posters on the dangers of the internet, or posters on the environment, or on whichever topic. They could write a paragraph, they could write a summary, or they could write an essay. So, depending on the level. 2 methods. You can have individual writing, so then the teacher would correct all those essays or paragraphs after the lesson. Or, sometimes if you have a large class, it's hard to correct, so many essays. So one method I often use is having group writing. So groups of students, and we have sometimes 5 whiteboards around the classroom. So groups of students would go and write the essay on the whiteboard. And this is fantastic because the teacher can then go to the whiteboard and correct the grammatical errors. And this is another way of talking about grammar, how you can teach grammar incidentally, as well as having grammar lessons. I know they're important. So the teacher goes and says, oh, well, it's a grammatical error there, and it's very easy just to rub out the whiteboard and correct it. So by the end you've got 5 essays on the topic around the room. They have all been corrected by the teacher. You haven't had to correct. Well, in our classes we have 18 students, so it's a lot to correct 18 essays. So this is, as well, of course you would correct each student's essays at a different time, but this is a time you can get 5 sample essays around the room. They have been corrected by the teacher, and it's great. So it's a really good way to teach essay writing, or writing a summary, or even sentences at lower levels. Okay, so now we're going to do something. I believe in doing things, because as teachers, if you actually do it, you really understand what to do. Whereas if I just talk about it, like the first time someone talked to me about jigsaw reading, I had no idea. It was completely confusing. So I think if we actually do it, and then you know how to do it with your students, I think it's just great. Doing is really understanding. So the topic, as I mentioned, is the dangers of the internet. So this is a warm-up. Point 1 is warm-up. So students group themselves according to whether they agree or disagree or partially agree with this statement. Are there significant dangers on the internet? So I would like everyone to stand up. If you totally agree there are significant dangers on the internet, go to that wall. If you totally disagree, you think the internet is according to what you
a little bit
be careful.
forward here and
If we are careful, there is no danger.
You're right. I think that's just...
Now when you're in those sort of in groups, you can discuss why you think you totally agree with that statement, why you partially agree, and we've got levels here. So just discuss in your groups for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
Different
Internet
parts.
is not dangerous. I think if we know how to use the internet, there would be no dangers. I totally disagree with this statement. But I think there are sometimes some dangers. And I cannot stand here. I cannot stand here. Yeah.
Come on.
That dangers are caused by the users.
You can convince me? Yes, I can convince you. Everyone that's convinced join us. The internet is better. It does more good than harm.
But it's just totally disagree.
Yes,
I can accept,
but you know,
I can accept that partially disagree with this statement, but I cannot
Because everything can have something.
Okay, I might step back a little, not totally.
This is good, you can change your mind.
I'm here to change their minds.
That's the whole idea.
Because internet is the gathering of some people. You said that people are making the danger, not the internet itself, huh?
That's a good point.
Okay. Yeah. And
we wanted to
but
convince him to
we
join
don't
us, but
define
apparently
internet
you
as
convinced us to
itself.
join us.
We define internet with people. So people are inside it. When we say it's dangerous, it means that people who are active in the internet, they are dangerous. They can be dangerous.
You know, everybody has access to the internet these days, even small kids. Are you sure there are no dangers for even small kids who are using the internet? There are no dangers at
For
all.
small kids.
You know, who are no dangers? Are you sure?
Yes.
So stand over there.
You know,
What's
the other day we were talking about something called technology diet. There are people who spend like 5 or 6 hours, and the odds are they will start wearing things like this.
Okay, guys, I know, I agree.
So there are some dangers.
Come on,
Like
I agree with you.
Of course.
the one it did to me.
I agree with you, but let me go over there and see what's there on that front, you know. I just want to have some ideas to,
Okay,
you know,
let's
to
ask
tackle
them.
their problems.
No, let's go and convince them to
Being and things
So
like
we
that.
totally agree that there are dangers.
Not so much about
There are many big dangers.
all of us.
For example,
Much time on the internet or believing in things.
yeah, I think they are doing it.
Children spend lots of their time in front of the computer playing video
Sorry.
time. They will have much more, you know, harms. They will be more harmful.
Yes, I agree with you, but I don't think that that's a question.
The question is about the
dangers
that
the
the internet
internet
can
on
cause
us. Okay?
such as Emma said, hacking,
Yes.
stealing information.
That kind of danger.
That kinds of things. Not, for example, not reliable sites, using internet a lot. These
That
kind of
changes the question altogether.
exactly.
Yeah.
Come here, everybody.
What do you think
People from
that?
this group like to move up to the other end and discuss.
Can you please tell us what do you think that the question means?
Yeah.
Had different
Are there,
idea.
oh yes, are there significant dangers on the internet? Big dangers. Significant as big.
Hacking.
Yes,
Cyberbullying.
exactly. Yes.
So not the fact that children who use the internet for too many hours.
No.
Exactly. From that point of
I
view,
think
I
that
think
depends on the way people use the internet. If you know how to use the internet, there wouldn't be any dangers on the internet by
What
itself.
about the others? Others can know how to use the internet even better than you.
Any tool, any technology could be dangerous or useful. The way you use it decides whether it is really dangerous.
But now we're
or-
talking about the potentials.
I can see that this has raised a lot of discussion, which is fantastic. This is the whole idea, to raise discussion, people talking about it, and so after this, you could get people from one end to discuss it with people from the other end, or you could just leave it at that. You can use this idea however, in whichever way you want. But we're going to move on. I have another activity, which is a second warmer. You might just want to use one warmer, but I thought I'll have two to give you two ideas to use with the students. So we'll just get these out. If I could have a couple of helpers. Thank you. Thank you. And somebody, sorry. Thank you so much, Sherzi, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Sherzi.
This is a different woman now.
This was the next thing you take.
This is a different exercise.
So what should we do? Ask the classmate to
Ask and answer these.
No,
Pairs
three
of
no.
things, yeah.
Let's ask him. Ask him first.
Has anybody's computer has ever been
Infected with a virus.
Yes,
by
it
virus?
has.
It's all over the place, viruses these days.
Not on the computer. Sometimes servers.
Have you ever received an email that offers you the opportunity to make a lot of money very quickly?
Yeah, I think there were these kinds of emails coming from Africa or somewhere, and they were really popular, and I knew that they were scams, they were cons,
And you have
they were
been
not real.
especially chosen to do that.
And they always say that you're one step away from winning $1 million overnight, and
You just need to fill out this form and send it to this email.
Once a week.
there are even some viruses that you just have to click.
What about number 3? Have you ever received an email that appears to be from your bank asking for your password? I haven't received any such email.
But I feel it is
I've heard about it. I've heard about it that some people do such things to, get some money from people illegally. This way.
You just have to insert your password and then your account is.
Especially the internet password, the second password. You give that one, give that password to someone, they could easily extract the money from withdraw the money from your account very quickly.
Have you ever received an email or a mobile phone message from someone you don't know that asks you to click on a link in order to win a prize?
I have received that. I have always deleted those messages, and I have never clicked on those messages because I believe they're not for real and they might contain viruses that might affect my computer. Has anyone who you do not know tried to befriend you on a social networking site such as Facebook or LinkedIn?
All the time, people ask for becoming friends all the time. And, I do a little research in order to find out who he is and then accept them. Most of the time, I just did that.
If I don't know them, I wouldn't accept their friendship request. Do you have the most secure setting on your social networking sites such as Facebook?
I don't think that it is that much secure. There's only one password.
Mine isn't really that secure, but I have set some limitations so that not everyone can see what I post on my wall. I have set it to my friends, close friends, only friends. So it is secure, but not really that secure.
I mean, I think here, just, the
About the password and things, yeah. I think that is secure. Yeah. Do you know anyone who is addicted to computer games?
are you?
Yeah. I'm standing right in front of you. Addicted to computer games. I used to be addicted, and these days I'm, getting a relapse, and I'm being addicted to computer games again. Especially the one game that is called Football Manager. I'm a big fan of it. I'm crazy about it.
I had a student who was a teenager. Clash of Clans, games that teenagers play. He had 10 accounts.
I have the answer for number 8. Sorry to interrupt.
You want me to ask you?
No. Number 8. Do you know anyone who watches television series on the computer for too many hours per day? Yeah, I know someone.
Yeah, you caught me.
Yes.
That's that.
Computer games. Yeah. They installate my picture.
He's also addicted.
I'm getting a relapse these days.
Yeah, I'm not actually, I don't watch too many hours.
What is just a couple of hours? Okay, couple of hours is too many hours. Series are 20 minutes, so if you watch more than 20 minutes, it's too many hours.
Not too many hours. It's like
You watch the whole series once.
Okay, it's just a couple of hours a day.
No food, nothing.
Do you know anyone whose study or work has been affected by being on the computer too much?
More than you can't put 60 hours a day. It has to be more than a day, usually 3 days.
Not that I can think of.
That's addiction.
Has anyone you do not know tried to collect personal information from your social network, such as your phone number or address? No, it has never happened.
Yes, it happened to me once when I was checking my Instagram account. I received one message that it told me to re-enter my password, and I got really suspicious that I didn't get it.
Has anyone you know been upset by a nasty email or message on social networking sites such as Facebook? Yes, I know people who have been offended on social networking websites. Some of them they even quit using those social networking websites because of those offensive messages on their pages or walls.
In the 20th season of South Park, one of the episodes is about social bullying.
Yeah.
And people, in real life, they commit suicide, yes? And they talk about quitting the social networks that it is like suicide.
So that is the answer to number 12. Do you know of anyone who has become very distressed by prolonged cyberbullying? I have never been, on the receiving end of cyberbullying, but I have no idea. Yeah.
I don't know anyone.
Let's join the group and see if they have any other ideas. Yeah. So any interesting information to share with you or with us? It's over?
It's over.
Thank you.
Please move now to you totally disagree with the statement. after this other one.
Join the other group.
No, not join, just move. To whichever you agree on. If you totally agree with that statement, or you totally disagree, or in the middle. So, is there any movement? Have you changed anything?
Let's go there. Let's try to cheat sheet.
So in your class also, the idea is to get people talking, and so it's great to get people discussing and talking. Okay, now this is the first part of the 5-part series. Okay, so the second part is a listening activity, and so I've got all these listening sites from BTN, which is a site that is designed for upper secondary students, which I know a lot of your students are secondary students, 16, 17, 18, or even younger students, and it's great just to get them interested. So BTN, so this program is designed to engage students at that age, so it should be good for your health. So here's one on cybercrime.
Cybercriminals have hit the organisation in charge of Australia's finances. In another incident, some hackers even got the personal details of Michelle Obama, the wife of the US president. So why are people doing this? Sarah takes a look at some of the different types of hackers out there and why they do it.
They're the criminals of the 21st century, using technology to steal, to spy, to create havoc. These are the cyber criminals. If you think of how much we use the internet every day, it's easy to see why online security is a big issue. All of that information going back and forth, from entertainment to bank accounts, business records, even government secrets. It's all online and it's very attractive to criminals. Cybercrime is thought to cost the world about $900 billion a year. And it's a big worry for businesses, governments, and ordinary internet users. So, who are these cyber crooks? Let's have a look at some of the suspects. Pirates are a pretty common sort of cyber criminal. They're people who download, upload, or share digital material that they don't have the rights to, like movies or games or music. That's against the law, and the entertainment industry says it costs them hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Here's another one you might have come across. The phisher is someone who sends out emails trying to scam you out of your personal details. Have you ever had an email telling you you've won lots of money? Maybe a foreign prince wants to give you his fortune. That's phishing, and the people who fall for it lose a lot. Phishers sometimes put people in using fake websites with recorded passwords. And sometimes they spread malware, nasty computer programs designed to spy on you or wreck your systems. Hacktivists are a bit more controversial. They're people who use their programming skills to protest the things they believe in. And while not all of them break the law, some do. They can bring down websites or steal secrets. Not for money, but to prove points.
Greetings, Obama and fellow Americans. This is Anonymous.
Hackers going by the name Anonymous are using this symbol to be behind some big cyber attacks. In Australia, they hacked into an internet company and stole people's details to protest against the government's plans to keep track of things on the net. They've also hit overseas governments and businesses. And whilst the hackers say they're fighting for people's rights, others say they're committing cyber terrorism. Then there's these guys, the Advanced Persistent Threat Agents, or APTs. programs which detect malware, and building better online security systems. Often, the people who know how to commit cybercrime end up working for the good guys, trying to stop others from doing the wrong thing. As for the rest of us, the best way to protect ourselves is to know about the risks that are out there and use common sense to stay safe on the net.
So this is, I'll just keep that video. So this is an ABC online program called BTN, which is short for Behind the News, and there are hundreds and hundreds of programs on this site. They only go for 3 to 4 minutes, and they're very engaging for the students, so I think they're really fabulous. The other benefit of this is that there's a transcript, because that may have been a bit fast for your students, the language, so you can play it several times, or you can have a transcript if students don't know a particular vocabulary. So here you have the full transcript, as you can see. So I think it's fabulous because they can listen to it first, and this is good for IELTS students as well. Listen to it, try and understand the gist of it, and then they can download the transcript, print the transcript, and then hear it again, and over and over. And so I think it's really good. This could also be set in the flipped classroom. It can be set for homework. You could play it once in class, and then you could say, okay, go home, listen to it 3 or 4 times, and really try and understand what it's talking about. So, and they've got the transcript there. You could print the transcript or tell the students to have a look at it online. Get the BTN. Get BTN up. Just while we're here, a slight diversion, I just want to show you this site because I think it's really great. So if you go to if you go to archives, you can go back to 2005 for the stories, and some of them are still quite relevant if you're looking for a particular topic. So if you go to 2006, you can see all the topics they've done, and you can look at them all. It's fantastic. So air pollution, something on inventors, sharks, mosquitoes, animals. So yeah, fabulous. So this side is great. The other side, Catalyst, which you'll have the links given them to here. So you can go onto these sites. I think BTN is fabulous, Catalyst is fantastic. And I'll just go back to it. So here, I think that cybercrime, I think it was 2013 or something like that. It's still relevant. Still, all the issues are still relevant. So you can go back over many years and try and, if you're looking for a little bit of a listening segment for your topic, you can find something on the site. Thank you. So we've done the first part, we've done the warm-up, we've done part 2, the listening, and now we're up to the jigsaw reading. So I have 4 newspaper articles on the topic of dangers of the internet. The topics are, well, I won't tell you the topics. We're just going to do this now. So when you do it, you'll be able to do it more easily with your class. Okay, so another group of 4. If you can try and get together, move your chairs or something. You're clashing, yeah. Actually, it might be better if you don't mind. Did you tell me?